Hello crafty family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's video, I will be creating some awesome Dollar Tree home decor DIYs using the Cricut cutting machine to help me customize and make some amazing home decor. Now, I do want to give a special thank you to Cricut for sponsoring today's video, and I hope that you enjoy seeing how I use this machine in my creativity. Now, I hope that these step-by-step tutorials help whether you're a new Cricut owner, you're actually thinking about one, or just simply curious. Now, before we start, I have to say, hey to all of my subscribers, and if you are a new visitor to my channel today, I hope you consider subscribing as well. Now, I'm so excited to share more about what you can do with this, but first, let's jump into that first DIY project. Now, for this project, we're going to need 3 of these wood crates from the Dollar Tree. And we're also going to need a pack of these 5-gallon paint stir sticks from Lowe's for 98 cents. Now, the first thing you want to do is to take that pack of stir sticks, and we're going to measure at about 17.5 inches down. We're going to make a mark, and we want to cut off that handle portion of those stir sticks. Now, once you cut them off with your saw, here's what it looks like. Just go ahead and remove 2 of those sticks from the package for this project. So now that you have that cut, we're going to protect our work surface, and we're going to be staining all of our wood pieces. Now, I'm going to be using Early American stain for this project. Now, I'm also going to stain 4 of these Quart craft sticks as well. So I'm going to go start to apply my Early American stain to all of my pieces, and I'm going to stain the front, back, and the ends. Now, you could sand off those numbers from the stir sticks if you want to, but it doesn't matter. That part will be facing down. So we're going to start off. We painted we stained those 5-gallon stir sticks. Now we stained those Quart craft sticks, and then we are going to stain our crates. And now that it's all stained, we're going to go ahead and wipe them all down with a paper towel to remove any excess stain, and this will allow them to dry a lot faster, and you want to let them sit for about an hour and a half. So now everything is dry. You want to gather up all of your stained pieces so we can assemble our piece here. So we're going to start by covering up the holes on the side of the crates, and we're going to be using those Quart craft sticks, and we're going to just cut pieces down to size that will cover up the holes on the inside of those crates so you don't see inside. Add a dab of that hot glue on each side of that stick and just press it gently over that hole until it's covered, and you want to repeat this for all of your crates as shown here. Now, once everything is dry, we get to start assembling our stand. Now, I'm just going to grab a piece of wood just to make sure everything stays nice and even, and that middle crate will be offset as shown here. Now, you want to bond these together with some wood glue and let it sit until it's tightly bonded. Now, once it dries, everything is nice and secure as shown here. So now we're going to flip it with the bottom side up, and we want to grab those 2 5-gallon stir sticks. We are going to apply one at the front and the back edges, leaving a tiny gap in the middle, and we're going to apply this with some wood glue. Now, once that wood glue is nice and set and those pieces are bonded in place, we're just going to cover up that gap by cutting down one of those Quart craft sticks, and we want to stick it right in the center there, overlapping that opening and securing that with wood glue as well. And now we have the little opening at the shelf piece, so you can add little trinkets to the bottom of your display. Now, I wanted to add some little handles. I got these from Amazon. I'll link them in the description box below, and I'm going to place one in the center of the front of each crate as shown here. Now, once they're in the center, I'm just putting a dot of hot glue on there, and this is just to hold it in place while I secure these with the screws that they came with. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some of those screws. They're really small, so they should go in fairly easy without pilot holes. You just want to carefully drill them in through the holes until they are nice and secure. And here are all of the handles, all nice and secure with the screws on the front of the crate. And now all we're going to do is flip it over, and we are going to add some labels with our Cricut. Now here is the cutting machine that I will be using today. Now this is the Cricut Maker 3, which is the latest machine that Cricut has released, and it comes packed with awesome features. Now this machine can cut over 300 materials, from the lightest weight fabric and leather to even wood. Now I love that this machine has saved me so much time while making my creation, and it cuts 2 times faster than the previous model. Now this machine is a beast and it is heavy duty, but you don't have to fidget around with cables, since this machine is Bluetooth enabled and you can have a wireless connection. Now there's lots of space to store your tools on the top side, as well as a very roomy compartment in the fold down cover for all of your accessories. Now, another exciting feature of the Maker 3 is that you can go mat-free with the use of smart vinyl, and there is also an awesome vinyl roll holder and cutter combo available as well with the smart vinyl that easily attaches to the Maker 3. And so now that you know about this machine, let me show you some other supplies and accessories that I will be using today. Now, I will be using an assortment of Cricut weeding and cutting tools. I'll also be using the Cricut Standard Grip Mat, and I like to use this just to help me out with my weeding. I'll be using this Cricut Black Permanent Smart Vinyl. And I'll be using some Cricut Transfer Tape. So now let's get started. So now we're going to open up the canvas and design space, and we are going to click image, and then we're going to type in label. Now as you can see here, design space offers lots of different label styles, and we're just going to choose one we like for our project and then add it to the project. Now as you notice, this label has several layers on it, so what I want to do is go ahead and select it and click slice. This will divide each layer individually, and I'm going to delete the 2 layers I don't need. Now you're stuck with this one piece label, which is perfect. So now I'm going to resize it, and I want it 2.25 inches high and 4 inches wide for the final size. So now I'm going to click text, and I'm just going to number these 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and center that 1 in the middle of the label, and I just want to make sure it's all attached together, and then duplicate it 2 more times, since we're going to be repeating this for the other 2 crates. And now all you have to do is edit the number on the other 2, adding a 2 to 1 and adding a 3 to the last one. Now once you have all of 3 of those done and they look good, what you want to do is you just want to go ahead and make sure it's all attached together, and then click Make It. Now what this will do is it'll ask you if you're using a mat or not, and we're going to be using smart cutting materials, so we don't need a mat. And then it'll show you what it'll look like, and you could do some adjusting of the spacing here if you like. Now all you have to do is to click Continue to cut your design. So now it takes you to the menu. We're going to select our smart vinyl. We're going to go with the default setting. We're just going to double check and make sure our blades and everything is in place. So your machine is going to measure your vinyl to make sure you have enough, and then you can cut out your design. So now we're ready to go ahead and cut our design. So I'm taking my smart vinyl, I am loading the roll onto the roller and feeding it right under and through, making sure it's lined up with the guides. Then I'm going to start and press the feed button into the machine. It's going to calibrate and make sure I have enough vinyl ready to go for the project. And then when that's done, it blinks and it says it's ready to go ahead and cut. Go ahead and click that button and watch it go. Now let me tell you guys, this Cricut Maker 3, this goes so lightning fast. I was really impressed on how fast it cuts, and I am just really excited about using it in all of my projects. So now what we're going to do is we can use our slider to cut that vinyl off, and it'll cut right on a line right below your project. And now you can see all of your vinyl is cut with all of your labels. Now, even though we did use the smart vinyl for this project, I love weeding all of my projects while it's stuck to a Cricut mat. It's just a thing. I just find it so much easier. So I'm taking my weeding tool and I'm carefully weeding out all of those negative pieces from my vinyl. I did have a lot of spaces on there, so what I'm doing is I'm removing it, and I'm just going to cut all of those extra pieces off with my scissors and just making sure I put that to the side, and then continuing to weed off all the remaining scrap vinyl. Now here are all 3 of my labels, all fully weeded and ready to go. So now I'm going to grab some Cricut transfer tape, and this will help remove our labels. So I'm just going to peel it off and place it right on top, carefully on top of the labels. And then I'm going to take my Cricut burnishing tool, and I'm going to just make sure they're nice and adhered. Then you can just remove it from the mat and carefully cut apart each one of those labels so they will be ready to go and ready to adhere to your crates. Now just grab your 3-piece crate set and flip it over to the blank side, and we're going to go ahead and add the labels as shown here. One more burnish, and I'm going to flip it over and remove the backing from the smart vinyl, and then center each one of those labels on the crates. Now once it's centered, burnish it on really well, and then carefully peel back that transfer tape, and now you have a beautiful label on your crate. And now repeat this for the other 2. And there you have it, 3 beautiful labels on your crates. I'm loving this look, and it looks so fancy, and this is completely reversible, which makes it twice as fun. So now you can decorate. And here is the final project all on display, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now I've added some plants from IKEA to these to give them a really fun and beautiful look. Now the handles on these look absolutely wonderful, and with a simple flip, you can enjoy the awesome labels on the other side too. Now these were so easy to customize, and the Cricut makes it so easy to whip up with lots of options and styles to choose from. You all have to let me know what you think about this project in the comments below. For this project, we're going to be needing 2 of these Easter signs from the Dollar Tree. Now we're going to go ahead and take those signs. We're going to remove all of those tags and the string from the top. Now we are going to be bonding these together, and we are going to be bonding them at the bottom as shown here to make one long sign, but flip over the design section facing you, and we are going to be using those cut off paint stir sticks from our other project to bond these together. I'm just going to add some wood hot glue to it, and I'm going to place the first one in the center seam, bond it until it's nice and secure, and then adding one of the pieces on the top and one of the pieces on the bottom. Now once those are bonded, I'm adding just a little bit more glue on that seam just to make sure everything is nice and secure. Now once that does completely dry, we are going to prepare our sign for paint. So I'm protecting my surface, and I'm going to go ahead and grab some white chalk paint. I'm just going to add some of that chalk paint to the board, and then I'm just going to spread it out with a paintbrush. You only need one really nice coat over the entire back of your sign. And here it is, all nice and painted, and you want to allow it to completely dry. And here's our sign all nice and dry, and now we're going to cover up the back. I just think this looks so professional when you complete the back of your projects. So I'm taking some of that thick craft paper I love to use, and I cut a piece the size of the back, and I'm going to start outlining the back of the sign with my hot glue, pressing it down. Now I'm adding it in sections, so you just add it as you go and press that paper in place. And once the back is completely covered, you want to take a utility blade or an X-Acto knife and go around the entire outside of your sign to remove all of the excess, and now the back of your sign is all covered. Now I wanted to hang it, so I'm adding a piece of jute twine with knots on the end. You don't want to glue it to the paper, you actually want to glue it to the board. So I've marked where the knots will go, and I'm taking my utility blade and I'm cutting out 2 squares out of that craft paper so the back of the board will be exposed, and you can add glue to that section. So add 2 heaping amounts of glue, and then place your hanging string with the knots in the glue to make sure it's adhered to the board. Now to cover up the knots, I cut 2 2 more pieces of craft paper, added glue, and I'm covering up those knotted ends. I just think that this makes the look so complete and finished, and now your sign can be hung. So now we're in design space. Go ahead and click images, and we're going to type in welcome sign. So as you can see, I love all these cute little welcome signs. I have them from all the seasons in design space, and I am going to select one that I like to go on my board and then add it to my canvas. Now I'm going to resize my screen so I see the whole sign, and as you see, the measurements are off. We're going to do it according to the measurements of the board. So we want the width to be adjusted to 6 inches and the height to be adjusted to 23 inches. Now once all of your sizing is correct, go ahead and rotate your sign sideways because we want to split this in half so it'll fit on our cutting mat. Now I'm going to go to shapes and select a square, and I am just going to draw a square out on my canvas. And we're going to place that square over the half where we want to split our design in half. Now once it's placed right in the center, you want to click and drag over the whole thing, hit split, and what it's going to do is divide that sign in half into 3 layers. So we're just going to delete these 2 extra layers we don't need, and now we have the top half and the bottom half. And we're just going to move them around on our canvas until everything looks good, and then click make it, and this will show what it looks like on our smart vinyl. Now if everything does look good, we can continue to cut our design. Now our machine is cutting out our design for our welcome board. Now once it's done, cut that vinyl off and then eject all of the cut vinyl to reveal your welcome sign design on the vinyl. So now all we have to do is just go ahead and weed all of that out. It's really easy. And once the bigger pieces are done, we're just going to get all of those fine detailed pieces, and now we have both halves of our sign. I'm going to go ahead and take some transfer tape, put it over the entire piece. I'm going to burnish it on, and then I'm going to remove it from my mat and then cut it in half. So now we have the top and the bottom pieces of our welcome sign, and I'm going to go ahead and this time grab my board, and I want to make sure that that welcome sign will fit the way I would like it. So I'm placing both halves on top just to make sure it fits accurately. Now once I'm happy with that, I'm removing that smart vinyl backing until the vinyl is just on the transfer tape, and I'm trimming off just a little bit on the bottom side so I can connect it and stick it to the top to make one continuous piece. And now just flip the entire piece over to where it fits on the board and carefully place it on top. And then once it's nice and centered, go ahead and burnish that on really well. And now all you have to do is carefully peel off all of that Cricut transfer tape. Now this is adorable. I love it. Now if you wanted to amp up the look a little bit, you can always add a little bit of greenery to the top. And I also added a black and white finger bow to the top to finish the look. Now check out how gorgeous the sign turned out. This is my first project making a long sign, and I have to tell you, it was so incredibly easy to make using my Cricut along with Design Space. Now, you would never know that this was made with Dollar Tree signs. I really do hope you all give this easy project a try too. For this project, we're going to need 2 of the 7-inch vases from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to jump right into Design Space, and I'm going to select a design. Now I decided to go with a vine design for my vases, and I'm taking a look at what they have. They had a lot of leafy, a lot of florals, but I wanted something pretty neutral, almost like a swirl. So I came across one that caught my eye. Now, even though this one is an odd shape, I'm going to go ahead and add it to my canvas because I think I can manipulate it to make it fit my project. So once I added, it was this top portion of it that I really loved. So I'm just going to cut off that bottom portion. Now to do that, go ahead and click shapes. I'm going to select a square, and I'm going to put a square over the portion I don't want to cut out of my project, so I'll split that off. Once that square covers the whole thing, I'm just going to click and drag over the entire thing. I'm going to click split, and what it's going to do is split the design so I can remove all of those layers of the split. Now, when I saw this bottom layer, I actually thought it was kind of cute. I rotated it and I thought, well, that might work too, but I stuck with my original plan and I went ahead and deleted that and kept working. So this is the part I want to wrap around my vase, and I need to resize it. So I'm going to resize it to 11.5 inches wide to 6 3/4 inches high. Now this will wrap around the entire vase and it looks good. So click make it and click your smart vinyl. And if everything looks good from here, we can actually continue and go ahead and cut out our design. So now that you've sent your design, it is cutting away and everything is going very quickly. I'm hitting my slider to cut off that vinyl, ejecting it, and now your swirl vine design is all done. I'm just going to apply it to my mat so I can weed it really easily, just removing all of the larger pieces first and then getting in all those little intricate pieces next. So here's what the design will look like all fully weeded. Now we're just going to apply our transfer tape right on top and prepare it to transfer to our vase after burnishing it on really well. So now what you want to do is grab one of your vases. Now when you want to apply things to a vase, it's very important that they're very clean, so I'm cleaning with rubbing alcohol and a lint-free cloth. So I'm going to lay it down on a soft cloth, and then I'm going to remove my design from the backing and carefully place it on the vase, starting in the center and working your way around the vase. Now once it's applied all the way around, go around with your burnishing tool, remove that transfer tape, and now you have a beautiful vase that you can decorate and display in so many different ways for your space. And here are my two-piece set of vases on display. I mean, how sweet are these? Now the swirl vine fit perfectly, and placing one on a candle stand really looks cute as well. Now whether you add candles, floating candles, or greeners to these, they would be perfect in any space. Now you all have to definitely let me know which one of these projects was your favorite today. Listen, I hope that you found this video helpful today and that you are as excited as I am about learning and creating with this fun cutting machine. Thank you again for Cricut for sponsoring today's video, and be sure to check out all of the details about the Cricut Maker 3, the Cricut tools and materials, and much more in the description box below. Now, as always, if you want to keep up with all of my creations, make sure that you're following She's So Crafty on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And if you are all about making high-end DIYs on a budget, make sure that you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below, or just click on my She's So Crafty logo on your screen and make sure you hit that bell to be notified when the next DIY goes live. It's absolutely free. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you